the losses are there to teams they had no business losing to.
On December 2nd, when the ACC championship is in Charlotte, it should be Florida State and North Carolina, but most likely it's going to be Florida State and Louisville, and that stadium won't even be half full. Will not be half full.
Why do they continue to have it in Charlotte? Can't you just have it on the campus of Ohio State?
It's usually mid-range, and it's now the headquarters of the ACC. So, which is a whole other story.
Yeah, moving out of
they've been in Greensboro forever, and then moved to Charlotte when Jim Phillips took over as commissioner because he didn't like Greensboro. So why you moved from Greensboro to Charlotte, other than money, makes no sense to me.
I never understood why he moved it out of Greensboro, because
he didn't like Greensboro.
When I got into media in 1995, I always knew and was familiar with the ACC being based in Greensboro. Period. I'm always familiar with them being based in Greensboro. Now that's not the case. Then COVID happened, which kind of speared everything along. And then the ACC basketball tournament was hopping around instead of staying put. Now you got to build an office. Now you got to build an office.
Getting worse now.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, with the additions of Cal and Stanford and SMU, I mean, you're probably playing Dallas and Houston and San Francisco and LA. I mean, you're in Vegas. You're playing all over the place. It's bad enough they're playing in Brooklyn, which is stupid,
and Washington D.C.
or St. Petersburg. I mean, nobody cares.
Oh God, St. Petersburg, Florida.
I've been to ACC tournaments in Greensboro, Charlotte, Atlanta, Washington. Nothing against any of the rest of them. I enjoyed all of them. But it's by far the best in Greensboro. It's not even close.
It's not. It's not even close. I've covered a couple of tournaments in Greensboro at the Coliseum, even in the midst of the renovation, because the renovation was completed in 1995 when they expanded the seating capacity. Then they built the backcourt club. They built the annexes. And by the time 1995 got here, everybody was descending on Greensboro. And that was the way it was for the longest time.
And they just do the best job of hosting the tournament. They just do. And it's granted, it's not the biggest city. It's not the biggest city. And it's not the smallest city in the world either.
No,
but they do a great job of hosting the tournament.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect place to hold the ACC tournament. Now, with the ACC championship game for football being held in Charlotte, you're just lending more credence to why the headquarters should be based in Charlotte, when I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you've covered the conference a lot longer than I don't think they've sold out Bank of America Stadium since the football championship game has played Charlotte.
Maybe once or twice, maybe a couple of those times when Clemson was there. Of course, they've owned the conference lately, but let's face it, with the way Clemson's owned the conference lately, it's sort of been like an appetizer before they get into the college football playoff. I mean, so a lot of fans would wait until the playoffs started to go to games.
Yep.
And now Clemson's really struggling, other than they did play pretty well this past Saturday, but.
Well, they're not going to. It'll be a half. I wouldn't be surprised if they closed off the upper bowl.
I don't see that stadium anywhere being near full when they play.
No, it's not. No, it's not. A baseball note before we close.
I saw that. How about that?
Craig Counsell's going to manage the Cubs.
What the heck? I thought it was pretty much between the Brewers and the Mets, but the Cubs swooped in.
Well, Craig Counsell's managerial career has been ruined.
Boy, wait till you know how much of a robbery that is. Wait till he goes to Milwaukee the first time.
Oh, they will boo him lustily. He brought them 3 division titles, 3 playoff appearances, and now he's going to languish.
Well, you can sort of see the writing on the wall. That first of all, they have not given him a contract, which makes no sense to me. And then on Saturday, they traded Mark Canada to Detroit. That tells you can sort of see the writing on the wall that they're about ready to break this team down there for some stupid reason.
Yeah, and they're going to be rebuilding for the next 4 or 5 years.
They don't need to. They don't need to.
No, they don't. They're going to be the St. Louis Cardinals. They're going to be the St. Louis Cardinals. Because after the Cardinals lost 3 of their biggest pieces, they straight up went into tank mode. Now you got Craig Counsell managing the Cubs.
I think with a few pieces here and there, because the Cardinals are going to spend some money this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Cardinals are not far away from being pretty good again.
I hope so.
But the Brewers are a different situation because this is a small market city, but for the last 8 or 10 years, the owners actually spent money.
Mm-hmm.
Now it appears he's just going to tear it down and start from scratch. You can't do that. How you don't give Craig Counsell a contract is beyond me.
He's been their most successful manager since Harvey Keene. Who doesn't remember Harvey's wall bangers? Ben Ogilvy, Cecil Cooper, Pete Vukovich on the mound. I'm trying to remember their catcher, Ted Simmons. That's the name I was looking for. Ted Simmons, Cecil Cooper, as mentioned, Ben Ogilvy, Stormin Gorman Thomas,
Molitor,
Paul Molitor, Robin Yount. I mean, Craig Counsell has been the most successful manager in Milwaukee since Harvey Keene. And they're going to tear it down and start over. And my question is why? They don't have many assets in their minor league divisions.
Well, they've probably overreached how good they've been anyway. They've had their kind of calling card the last couple of years has been their pitching staff, but it's looking like they're all hurt right now. So who knows how good they're going to be? But to not give him a contract extension, come on,
to not even try.
No.
To not even try.
But a bigger question might be, what is going on with the Mets? Because I thought for sure if he were to leave the Brewers, he was going to go to the Mets, and he could have given him millions of dollars to manage there. And he turns it down. That tells you what little he thinks of the Mets.
Mm-hmm. And the Mets are going to be struggling even longer now. The Mets are going to be struggling for a longer time.
Yeah, they're talking about being competitive by 25. I don't see how that's possible.
I don't see it either. Even with the polar bear being there. Jay Spivey joins us.
Well, they haven't signed him yet either.
Nope, and they're not going to. I don't think they're going to. They're going to let him play his contract.
The analytics geeks seem to think he's not a good fit at first base. Well, who else do they have?
Does anybody trust their eyes anymore?
Nobody does.
Does anybody trust their eyes anymore? Folks, these analytics have got to go in baseball. I think that's how we'll lead off next week. Jay Spivey joins us as he does every single Monday, talking all kinds of sports. Thank you, Jay. Love you, brother. Talk to you in 7 days.
Thank you, sir. Have a good week.
My description of the New York Mets right now. I gotta go. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. Thank you for sticking with me. We'll be back to our normal time tomorrow. So long, everybody. So James Harden thinks he can fit with anybody and make him a championship contender. Ha 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 ha! Just do me a favor, will you please?
Stop the cap.
It's Friday. Let's go. On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This Bronx sexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Hell no. Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah. Time to get this party started. 10:04 on
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Accidents happen. That's why you need Repair That Glass. Specializing in windshield replacement and all other auto glass, we offer a full range of automotive glass repairs. Our technicians can do everything from minor chip repair to a complete replacement. Your windows don't go up or down, they can fix that too, along with custom glass work and antiques. Repair That Glass is a family-run business for over 40 years. Repair That Glass. Call for your appointment now at 330-534-3192.
Over 30 years of experience.
It's that time again when all we want to talk about is football. High school, college, and pro football. There's one man set to bring it all to you. It's time for Just Football with Matt Emsch. Matt was a first-time AP, all-offensive lineman with the Ursuline Irish and three-time national champion with Youngstown State. And now, here's Matt.
And welcome to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. Thank you for being here again tonight. It's going to be a huge show tonight. If you haven't noticed on the Facebook and the other social medias, we're going to have a lot of coaches from the area on tonight. We're going to open up with Mineral Ridge High School head football coach Brian Shaner in a couple minutes. And then we're going to have on, excuse me, John Bayek, the head coach of the Wildcats of Struthers, who just had a huge win versus the Mentor Lake Catholic team that a lot of people didn't give them a chance to win. And then after that, we're going to bring in Dan Reardon of the 13-0 Ursuline Irish. We'll finish up our coaches spotlight tonight, if you want to call it that, with David Rock of the defending state champion South Range Raiders, and then just peppered in between there, we're going to have our own Jim Craven, who's going to be on, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the games we have on Western Reserve Radio this week. So it's going to be an exciting night, and we can't wait for everything to jump up and grab us tonight. So, you know, we have, unfortunately, some lesser teams in the playoffs, but, you know, we still have 3 left, and boy, do they look strong right now. And it's going to be very exciting to see how this week goes. We definitely wish them all the luck in the world. And then we also have the NCAA heating up, and, you know, we're definitely going to be getting into that as the weeks go by, touching on NFL, which we haven't had much time for that lately. I mean, come on, let's be honest. High school football is God, especially in Ohio and really here in Northeast Ohio in the Youngstown, Warren area. And, you know, that takes first place with us. And that's why I focus on it. So, you know, any minute we're going to have Coach Shaner of the Mineral Ridge Rams are going to be joining us. And when he does, we'll just talk about the amazing season that they had. And, you know, unfortunately, they just didn't have things go the way that should have last week. You know, one of those situations where, you know, we have a team that might not have got the W, but in my opinion, after watching what happened, you know, they definitely were the better team, and that doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you get a team that maybe not, you know, should have walked away with the W, but they have a huge game this week. And I'm talking about Mogador versus Kirtland, and everybody knows, you know, who Kirtland is. So we'll see how they fare about it. But, you know, we're more concerned about the local teams in this area, and, you know, especially the teams that we follow here on City View Sportscast and Western Reserve Radio. So hopefully any minute here we'll have Coach Shaner calling in, and we will talk about what went on last week and about the future for Mineral Ridge football and what's on their radar, and you know, everything else. You also think about what's going on in the minds of these athletes, and, you know, with Canton looming, you know, it's pretty hard to, you know, not look forward past the week that they're in. But that shows you the coaches that really have their hands on their players, and, you know, what type of program that they're running. And it is those teams that can keep themselves focused and, you know, on the button there, so to speak, that they keep moving. So we just want to wish everybody, you know, the best. And hopefully we just, you know, keep these teams that are left plugging away and moving on into the possible future of, you know, with South Range maybe doing a repeat, and all the other teams as well, hopefully adding to their list of championships. So as I said before, we're just waiting on Coach Shaner. I know he's busy with a lot of things. We appreciate that everybody who can come on the show and talk about what's going on with their programs, join us. So if something might have happened, then, you know, we'll definitely fill this time with something else. So I apologize to everybody. We are going to actually go to, hopefully, someone else here on the line while we're waiting on Coach Shaner. If you guys will just give me a second here, I will do my best to get somebody else to call. Us being an Ohio-loving state, obviously, and a Buckeye. Oh, here we go. Hold on one second, everybody. We are going to go right to the lines to our own Jim Craven. Jim, thank you for helping me out there. I think Coach Shaner might have ran into a little problem, and that's normal life for everybody. So how are you doing?
Pretty good. Excited for another week of football, and we have 3 more opportunities to head to Canton in here in a couple of weeks. So we're hoping that Struthers, South Range, and Ursuline can power forward and keep the hopes alive of having another triple feature in the state championship game for the Valley. Yeah, it would be absolutely huge. You know, I was just mentioning how you really see the coaches that have a great hold on their program and you know, their team when they can keep everybody focused on just that week. You know, instead of looking at that light kind of shining over that, you know, mountaintop, so to speak, in Canton at Tom Benson. You know, everybody wants to end up there, of course, but there's a few more games or a couple more games you got to take care of before they're there. And, you know, the ones that can do it are really special. You know, we have, you know, a game here ourselves on Western Reserve Radio this week. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that one? We'll be headed to Twinsburg to see South Range and the Perry Pirates go at it again last year. South Range getting the 41-14 win over the Pirates. Of course, everybody knows South Range went on with a pretty dominant performance throughout the playoffs to win the Division V state championship. And we had talked about the concerns that were going to be there, and not so much concerns, but you have a changeover in staff, especially from a Dan Yeagley, and who's been a stalwart in the Valley for nearly 30 years. Changeover, you know, with graduation with seniors and whatnot. You wondered what was going to happen, and it's been a lot of fun to watch that. You know, Dave Rock has not skipped the beat, and you can tell that he's. He watched and he paid attention and he learned, and he's kept that program right where it was. And that I watched some film last night of them, and I'll tell you, South Range is well coached. They execute so well, and you can tell that the off-season program wasn't bad as well. They're pretty strong. They are. It's going to be a heck of a game, and you know, I am just blown away that the Raiders have, you know, brought themselves back in on where they were last year. You know, they had one hiccup this year. Was there only one loss that they've had on the season? Yeah, they lost to Green, a Division II team earlier in the season. So it was a jump up in, I guess you call it jump up in weight classes from 5 to 2, but it was not a blowout game. But Green did get the win, and it was their first regular season loss in several years. So not much to be disappointed about in that. They took the challenge and it didn't work out, but nonetheless, when they're fighting at their weight class, I'll tell you, it's something to see. I watched the film at Ridgewood last night, and absolutely impressive performance up and down the field, both sides. Yeah, it is. You know, I look at their schedule. You know, they played, you know, against a game that you called the Springfield game. And I mean, in a great Springfield Tiger team who is very young, just like the Rams of Mineral Ridge are, but they went far in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they came up against Dalton, who was one of the tougher teams that might win state. You know, South Range, you know, beat them. Then that Green game you mentioned, they took care of JFK, Lakeview, Struthers, who is going deep in the playoffs, Poland, Girard, Niles McKinley, Louisville, Hubbard, Fairless, Ridgewood, Clearview last week, 48-21 big win. And then this week, a team that a lot of local teams have seen numerous times through the years, like Girard, when they made their state championship run a few years ago. Them and Perry were going back and forth for a few years. Now Perry gets South Range for the second time in a row from last year's matchup. Yeah, South Range is getting better of that last year. But Perry, a very good team. They're undefeated, 13-0. So they're you are what your record says you are, and they've been perfect so far. But they have a young, not a young quarterback. They have a junior quarterback by the name of Walter Moses, who incidentally I got to see 2 years ago as a freshman, filled in for a game between Perry and I believe it was West Branch at Boardman. And you could see flashes then, even as a freshman, that he was going to be really good. And the ironic thing here is his father, actually a colleague of mine, who was assigned to Cleveland and worked down in our area for a while. So it was fun to get to do that. But a very solid team in Perry. And again, a 13-0 by any stretch is not a mistake. So we'll see how this matches up with the immovable object meets the irresistible force type thing.
I agree, and I have their schedule up right now, and the first one that jumps out at me right away was played on 9/1 at Kirtland, one of the premier programs in the state of Ohio in any division. Any division, it doesn't matter. I remember a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, Kirtland scheduled, I believe it was Solon. They went to their house, which they're a Division I school, and they laid the wood to them. They dragged them behind their own woodshed and beat them like 56-7. And they're a Division V school at that time. So Perry, 13-0, as you just said, beating Kirtland, who is Mogador is going to face this week. I don't feel bad for Mogador, but I think they're going to have a rude awakening. They beat them 24-6. So Madison, Harvey, Kirtland, Jefferson area, Geneva, Lutheran West Orange, Chagrin Falls, West Geauga, Hawken, Crestwood, Sandy Valley, Garfield, and now they get a different team, though, defending state champ South Range. And you got to believe Perry's going to be fired up to play them again, but I wouldn't be really excited to have them on my schedule.
No, I think this is going to be a situation where the one who controls the emotions better are going to have a better chance to win this game. Each team's going to have to survive that wave of excitement through the beginning to the middle of the first quarter and let things settle in. And then I think you'll start to see better execution.
Well, Jim, I want to thank you so much for filling in for Coach Shaner. I hope he's okay. We'll be right back, everybody. You're listening to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurix Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333.
Action Physical Therapy is a locally owned outpatient physical therapy company serving the Mahoning Valley for over 20 years, with 5 convenient locations in Hubbard, Cortland, Kinsman, Salem, and Mineral Ridge. Action Physical Therapy can handle all of your physical therapy needs. Action Physical Therapy will create a unique plan made specifically for you. Call us at 1-8333-BEST-PT to schedule your evaluation today. Check us out at myactionpt.com. Get back in action with Action Physical Therapy, and as always, go Rams. If you are seeking a skilled photographer in Northeast Ohio with experience in capturing documentary-style photographs for various occasions such as family events, weddings, graduations, sporting events, and other special occasions, look no further than Colleen Moore Photography. Accessible via ColleenMoorePhotography.com, or she can be reached at 330-314-7547. Colleen sends her best wishes to the Mineral Ridge Rams for a fantastic season. Go Rams!
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. We're going to go right to the lines. We have Struthers Wildcats head coach, John Bayek. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you just got off the field, but, we really appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So, I want to first say, thank you to your dad. He got me in touch with you. I've known your dad for a long time and everybody knows who he is, but you are definitely making a lot of waves and people are talking a lot about this bag. So if we bring up last week's game, what a huge game. A lot of people, in my opinion, I didn't agree with it, but a lot of people didn't give you guys a shot against Lake Catholic. Could you talk about that matchup?
Yeah, they have a really rich football tradition over there, and they got a lot of titles, a lot of rings, a lot of things to their name, and that kind of happens when you're the underdog who haven't really been in this position before. But our kids have been great all year about being the underdog and facing adversity and just going out and playing their games. So we knew we were facing a really tough opponent. But luckily, we came out, we executed, and our kids played their tails off, and we got away with the victory.
We were calling a different game here, and I kept going over all of the scores for local teams as I always do. But when I saw you guys were winning, man, I got a little fired up. I yelled on the air, and we're all pulling for you, and we're so excited. Can we go back another week to that Poland matchup, because that one had a lot to do with where you are. The end of the regular season, you ended up with a really tight loss to them, and you got another shot at them. Can you talk to us about that matchup?
Yeah, our kids were excited that they were able to redeem themselves. Any team that loses to someone, if you get another shot, you want to take that opportunity and redeem yourself. And not just that, but it being a rivalry game, our kids take it to the next level whenever we play Poland. And just the combination of both factors, our kids were focused all week. They really wanted to get that win. And again, another game that came down to the wire against a really good Poland team. And just a great football atmosphere. And it got us ready for the rest of the playoffs. I mean, that league, not just week 12, but our week 11 game against Girard and the regular season league games have really tested us and got us ready for this playoff run.
One of the things that we always talk about here whenever I'm doing games is I look at schedules. I look at strength of schedule, because let's be honest, if you have a tough regular season schedule, you get to the OHSAA playoffs, you're going to be battle tested. And you guys do that. You're not afraid to play anybody. And I love that. And there's a few other programs in the area that do that. And it proves when you're in the playoffs doing well. This week, you guys have a huge matchup. You have an undefeated Canton South team who beat a good West Branch team 40-21 last week. Can you talk to us a little bit about them?
Yeah, they're a great football team, and a lot of talk about them. The first thing you bring up is their quarterback, and as we all should. He's a great football player, breaking records over there. And but what stands out on film is just they're a well-coached team that they're well-rounded. They have a really good defense that has progressed throughout the year. They have a strong running game. I think they ran for like 240 yards against West Branch, and that just shows you that they're not just a passing team, which makes it tough for us. So, they're solid all around. That's why they're 13-0, and that's why they're in week 14. So we got a really tough test for us. But as always, our kids have had a great week of practice so far, and just again hoping for another week, make it to week 15.
Talking about having another week, you see that light, so to speak. I keep mentioning this, but you have to at this point in the year. That light kind of shining over the distance, that mountaintop, at Tom Benson. How do you keep your boys, focused on the week at hand, not thinking about, that championship that could be, in the cards in coming weeks?
Yep, and something that we say every week, and we've been saying this since last year. We focus on being 1-0 every week. We never want to focus on being 10-0, 11-0, 12-0, or 16-0. Our goal is to be 1-0 every week, and if we can accomplish that, then we can get to those goals or objectives that we have set for ourselves. So that's kind of the way we try and hone in and stay focused on the team and week at hand. Our goal is 1-0 against Canton South, and whatever happens after that, happens after that.
I love that mindset. That's how champions are made. Coach, looking at the type of season that you guys have had, obviously you're going to have players at every age that you can point out that are leaders at some point during the season. But every winning program has seniors that you can point out that has directed that team. Can you talk to us about this group of seniors that you have this year?
Yeah, absolutely. When I took over this program 4 years ago, they were freshmen, so they were my first group, and it was a tough start for us. It wasn't easy, and nowadays, kids, if things get tough, they quit. They don't want to fight through difficult times. They just find something new and move on. And this whole group of seniors started with me, and they're ending with me. And I couldn't be more grateful to all of them for sticking it out. And last year we started a slogan that's plastered over all of our shirts and sweatshirts. That's "Trust the Climb." And it's a process. Every head coach says it's a process. Trust that process, and it was for us. And luckily, these seniors hung with me. They hung with our coaching staff, and they came together. And now they're finally seeing some views from the top, and I'm so happy they are. So that's that kind of leadership that they banded together, and our young kids got to see that. Last year, we started our season 1-4, and then we were able to make a run into the playoffs. So that just, that goes to show you the type of kids they are. They work their tails off in the off season to be where they're at. And I just, like I said, I couldn't be more proud of this group and how they've handled themselves through adversity the last 4 years.
It sounds like an awesome group to work with. You mentioned real quick your staff, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention your dad, Coach Jeff Bayek, who everybody in the Valley and the state of Ohio knows. He's been to that mountaintop and won it all. Yep. And he left JFK and he started coaching at other schools with his son. Can you talk to us about how important that is to you? What that means to you to have your dad on your staff?
Yeah, I knew. I sat down and talked to him when I first got hired, and I knew it wasn't a difficult choice for him because I knew he wanted to come coach with me, but it was really difficult for him to leave JFK because it was really family there with him, and I was close to that program with him when he was there, and I know it was a tough choice for him, but it has just been a great time. I took my first coaching job was under him at Camel, and I coached with him for his tenure there, and it was tough start when we were there, and then we built it into a playoff team, and it kind of was reversed here. The first couple of years here were kind of rough, and we're finally climbing up that mountain together, and it's just been an amazing time. I'm real happy that he was able to join the staff, not just as a mentor or a coach, but he's just a great person. He's great with kids, and he's just a great asset to have on a coaching staff.
That would be a dream come true for me to have been able to had some form of playing football and my dad involved with it or coaching. Finishing up our conversation, how can you not mention the people of Struthers, that community? And I know they've been super excited and supporting you. If you could say anything to all of the Wildcat fans out there, what would you say about them there this week for Friday's game?
They've come out to every, and not just our playoff games, every game this year. They travel so well with us, and they've been so supportive. And you always have critics in the stands if things aren't going well, but we've really had a great supportive group, and the outreach that we've had from them during this playoff run with asking us if we need anything, if we need food for the kids, if we need a hand or help with anything. It's just been honestly just a great experience for myself and the kids to see that they have a community that's supporting them, and there's never an empty seat in the house on our side of the stands. So just keep doing what they're doing. That's my message. Is we really appreciate everything they're doing for us and the support they have for us, and that kind of atmosphere I don't think people really understand unless you played high school football. That kind of atmosphere that you can bring just makes it extra special on a Friday night. So we really want that atmosphere. We know our fans are going to come out, and it's going to be a fun night.
I'm sure it will be. And Coach, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for taking time, and being here for us, and tell your dad that we said hello and good luck this Friday.
I will. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's Coach John Bayek, the head coach of the Struthers Wildcats, and a huge matchup this week against Canton South. Good luck to Coach. And we, are going to take a break in a minute here, and I just wanted to real quick go over Struthers' schedule from this year. They are right now 10-3. They started out with Beaver, a win, then a loss, and close loss against Geneva, then win against Brookville, Girard, a close loss to South Range, 37-33, beating Hubbard, Lakeview, East, Niles McKinley, a good Niles McKinley football team, losing in overtime, 28-27. As that coach, he went for it like his dad always does. He has many times in the past. He's gone for the win, and they went for 2. And I heard on the radio live that there was an interference call that should have been called, but they got their chance to get them back. Then they played Girard, beat them, got Poland back 14-9, and beat Lake Catholic 28-25. And like we said, they have undefeated 13-0 Canton South, or 14-0 Canton South. I don't think that they realize what's coming in the Struthers Wildcats. So we'll be back after this break. We're going to have head coach of the Ursuline Fighting Irish right up with us. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. This is Just Football.
Experience nature's bounty with Creation's Backyard. Elevate your health with the most nutrient-dense foods on earth. From farm to table, sustainably cultivated with care. Grown locally in Niles, Ohio with no chemicals or synthetics ever. Unlock your culinary creativity with Creation Backyard Microgreens. Convenient local delivery and pickup options available. Order now at creationsbackyard.com or call 330-282-7208.
Jesse's Dairy Cove is a hometown favorite, located at 3743 State Route 46, across from the gazebo in Mineral Ridge. Enjoy all of your favorite ice cream. We have over 32 hard scoop and over 40 soft serve favorites. We also have a large food menu, including homemade chili sauce, sloppy joes, pulled pork, fresh cut French fries, and mac and cheese. This fall, we'll start our homemade cookie and party trays. Visit our website at justicedairycove.com to see our menu. At Justice Dairy Cove, we appreciate your business and wish good luck to the Rams.
If you love history, head over to YouTube and check out Blogging Through History.
Hey, how you doing?
Hosted by Mineral Ridge High School graduate Chris Mowery, Blogging Through History visits historic sites to explore not only the well-known figures and events of the past, but also compelling stories that maybe you've never heard before. Chris would also like to wish his niece Amira Emsch and the Mineral Ridge Rams the best of luck for a successful 2023 season. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. We're going to go right to the line. We have Ursuline High School head coach Dan Reardon on the line. Coach Reardon, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Well, we're doing really well. Thank you very much for being here. I know, how busy it is for all of you guys that are still in the playoffs. We appreciate you making a little bit of time for us.
Yeah, no problem.
So looking, Coach, I keep looking. I have paid, obviously, attention to yours more than just about any, as me being an alma mater of the Irish. Such an incredible season. You guys being 13-0 and looking at your schedule, not afraid to play anybody. I mean, that mindset, where does that come from?
Well, I think Ursuline has always held that mindset, and we certainly don't shy away from anybody, and I think our kids take great pride in that. Our coaches do as well. The other piece of it is that we have a relatively small conference where there's only a handful of us, so we fill. So particularly after the season, most teams are tied into heavy into conference play. And we usually have some extra dates to fill more than most. And, so you go out there and sometimes you have to travel. Sometimes you have to, bring in an out-of-state opponent or whatever the case may be. But, again, it's something that we've always done. And it helps us prepare for, hopefully a long run in the playoffs every year.
I have to bring it up because the game meant so much to me, and it means so much to any Ursuline football player. That last game of the regular season, the Holy War against Cardinal Mooney, can you just real quick just touch on how important that game is every year?
Yeah, so it's a great rivalry, and historically, there's been so many great players and coaches and teams to be a part of it, and more often than not, it's two really well-versed football teams, going at it at the tail end of the regular season. There's been many times where playoff implications and seeding and all those things were on the line. So historically, it's always been a very big game. But, then when you look at just it's two good programs going at it, the rivalry over the years is second to none, I think. And, it's a really important game to both school communities and, all the former players and coaches and fans. And, it's just a big deal. And our kids certainly take a lot of pride in it, and so do theirs. And, we're lucky that, we have a win streak going right now against them. And, it is a great game. It taxes you both physically and mentally. And, it takes a great effort to win that game every year, regardless of what the records are.
It is. We always talk about, we want to keep that shillelagh at home on Wick Avenue. And, the Holy War is, in my opinion, one of the biggest rivalries in the state of Ohio, period. Everyone knows about it. And regardless of the season that each team is having, if you can beat your rival, that really helps, at the end of the year. Moving forward to another Cardinal team that you guys beat on November 3rd. It was a rematch from last year, the defending state champs of Canfield. Can you talk to us about how important that win was for you guys?
Well, if you go back a year ago, we felt like our region had some of the best football teams in the state of Ohio, and we felt like whoever came out of it, was going to be the favorite to win it all. And that's what happened. Kind of going into it, we felt like us, Canfield, Cheney, and Chardon were any one of us four. We kind of felt like we're good enough to win a state championship. And if you look at the regular season, Canfield's only loss was to Cheney. Cheney's only loss was to us. And then when we had a chance to play Canfield, they obviously won the playoff game, and that allowed them to advance. And hats off to them. They went on to win a state championship. They were an outstanding football team. And, our kids this year, we're excited about the rematch. And Canfield's a great program, and Coach Pavlansky does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And, the thing in the regular season, they were very, very banged up for a good chunk of the regular season. And they took some losses, because they weren't at full strength. And, we got them at full strength, and we knew it was going to be a war. And, it certainly was. And our kids found a way to win at the end. And, I was proud of them for that.
It was an amazing win, and every Irish faithful was just so excited to see you guys get them back. Moving forward a little bit to the next week, a team that you had a lot of familiarity with, Villa Angela St. Joe's, the Vikings. You guys played them twice this year, beating them in the regular season 38-18. But it was, it was a little bit tougher in the playoffs. Can we talk real quick about that matchup?
Yeah, so we've played them as much as anybody since I've been back. We played them in 2020 in the playoffs. 21, we played them on a very short week. We had a team cancel on us due to some COVID issues. So we picked them up on Wednesday, played on Friday, and they got the better of us that night. A year ago, we played them again, and then we had a chance to play them twice this year. So, definitely no stranger to us. But, the first game, we had both a defensive score and a special teams score, and we pulled away at the end. I know that they were disappointed in how they performed and felt like, they made some mistakes that otherwise, they had a really good chance to win the game. And, when we went into round two, we obviously know how talented they are because we played them. And, it was important for our kids to understand how we won the first game, why we won the first game, and not to take anything for granted. And that's hard to do when you play a talented opponent twice and have success the first time. So our kids accomplished something that's very challenging and taxing to do. We were able to play really good defense for 3.5 quarters of the game last week. There was about a 4-minute stretch where we didn't play great defense. We turned the ball over once. That gave them good field position. And, fortunately, we were able to hold on after having a fairly significant lead. But, again, I'm just proud of our kids. It's easy to look at that game and say, oh, man, they almost came back and won. And the other way to look at it is our kids took their best punch and beat them twice. And, I'm proud of our kids.
You should be, Coach. And all of the coaches are right when you say it is so hard to beat a team twice in the same season. It's just doesn't happen very often. Now, moving obviously to this week, the 17th at 7 p.m. at the Blue Field in Ravenna, you guys get a team that you mentioned, Chardon, 10-3. They are a team that are perennially in the OHSAA playoffs, and they go deep. What can you tell us about this team and how you're going to go about attacking them?
Yeah, so they they're no stranger to playing this week. They've won 3 out of the past 4 regional championships. They've won 2 state championships over that time. They're a really good football program, and they have a great culture. I know their head coach a little bit, and have a ton of respect for what he does, how he coaches, the program he's put together. And they're also a team that this will be the 4th time I've had a chance to coach against them. 2 times in my first stint at Ursuline, and then this will be the 2nd time since I got back. But in 2021, we were state runners up and went up there and played them in the regular season. And we were state runners up in Division 4. They won the state championship in Division 3. And they jumped up on us early, very, very quickly. I think it was 21-0 before most of the fans were even seated in the stands, by that point. And our kids battled back, and it was a 1-score game in the 4th quarter, and they held on to win. But it was a great game. Our older guys remember that game and how challenging it was. Fast forward to this year, their 3 losses were all against outstanding opponents. 2 of the teams are still left out of the final 8 in Division 3. All 3 of their losses were 1-score games. So if you look at them and say, oh, it's a 10-3 team, you're 13-0, you'll be fine. That is definitely not the case. They're a very capable football team, and they definitely have our attention, our respect, and that goes back more than just this season.
Absolutely. Looking at what could be over the horizon, I just spoke to Coach Bake about the same thing. Obviously, getting deeper and deeper in the playoffs, you see that, that mountaintop, so to speak, glowing from Canton. How do you keep your boys focused on this week?
Yeah, so, it's a fine line. It's for us, we do a ton of visualization as a team where we close, have everybody in the room close their eyes, focus up, talk through situations, and all year long we always visualize playing in Canton, and we're both focused on that week, and then also we spend a couple seconds on the long-term goal as well. And so there's that side of it. The other side of it is just understanding the attention to detail and effort and execution and everything that you need this deep in the season, and everything is magnified. Any mistake can lead to a play that might lead to the end of your season. And on the flip side, any great play you make might be the reason we move on and play another week. And, so it's a fine line. It's keeping your eye on the task at hand, and also, not being afraid to dream about the big prize, and, spending a little time talking about that. While again, 99% of your focus is on right now, but again, we're not afraid to dream big and talk about that and visualize it as well.
Absolutely. And finally, Coach, if you could say something to all the Irish faithful out there about getting hopefully to that blue field in Ravenna, what would you say to them?
Yeah. So, I'm just extremely proud of this football team, and they've, I've spoken a number of times to various media outlets about this year. Do you expect to be here? Do you expect it? We always have the goal and the expectation of playing deep. And I think that's what makes, one of the things that makes our program special. We don't shy away from big goals, and we talk about them all the time. And, that's a part of who we are. And that said, the schedule that we play all year, it's, if you would have told me we're going to be undefeated in the regular season, I don't know that I would have believed you. A, that's a credit to the schedule we play, but B, that's a big part of that is we graduated 5 senior offensive linemen last year, and they were really, really good football players. One of them was a 4-year starter. 3 of them were 3-year starters, and another one was a 3-year starter on the defensive side of the ball, just a 1-year starter on the offensive side of the ball. So experienced, talented, tough, all those things. We graduated all 5 offensive line starters. And with our schedule, we knew we had a chance to be good, but with our 5 new offensive linemen starting, I don't know that I would have expected to be 13-0 right now. There's always some growing pains, and, it's a real credit to those guys because they grew up quickly. Starting opening night, we played Steubenville and beat them. They're still playing this week. And that was a credit to them. And when we were able to have success that night, that gave those guys so much confidence, and, really was a big building block for us. So back to your original question, what to expect. I'm so proud of our team because every single week they found a way to answer the call. And, Friday night we have to go out and execute against a very good football team. And I know you're going to see a very motivated team on our side. You're going to see a team that is going to give everything they have. But also, I would just challenge all of our fans and even just casual football fans, come out and watch, because we have a great group of kids. I'm they're great kids. They're great people. They come from great families, and they work their tails off, and it's a fun group of kids to watch play the game of football, I think.
It's going to be a great matchup, and we wish you the best of luck, Coach. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody, that's an Irish Faithful Friday, 11/17/23 at the Blue Field at Ravenna. Go out there and support the Ursuline Irish. Dan Reardon, head coach of the Ursuline Irish, thank you for being here.
Yeah, anytime. I appreciate the coverage.
Thanks, Coach.
W&M Quality Roofing, LLC is an insured and bonded Mahoning Valley family-owned roofing business. At W&M, we treat your roof and home as if it's our very own. Give us a call at 330-647-0610 for a free estimate. Did you get damage from the latest storm? We also offer financing and specialists for insurance claims. For professional and efficient service, call W&M Quality Roofing at 330-647-0610.
SNK, painting your house today. SNK, painting
S&K Painting provides exceptional painting and refinishing services to the Mahoning Valley and surrounding communities by being an industry leader in our field, focusing on customer service and delivering extraordinary results. We offer interior and exterior painting, and we specialize in cabinet refinishing with affordable cabinet solution. Call S&K Painting for your free estimate at 330-505-1910.
S&K, painting your house today.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurix Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333. From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
And welcome back to Just Football. I'm your host, Matt Emsch. As we wait on David Rock, the head coach of the South Range Raiders, to call in, I just wanted to real quick go over the Ursuline Irish schedule. We always talk about strength of schedule and about how important that is when you get to the OHSAA playoffs so that you're battle tested. Because trust me, sometimes you hear people talk about, well, our school was 10-0. They were 9-1. They went through all these teams. They didn't make the playoffs, or they got beat in the first round. What's going on? I would just tell you, and I don't mean this in any insulting type of way. I would just say, look at the schedule, look at the teams that they play and their records. And it doesn't take long to do that. You go to Max Preps or Joe Idle and you look at those teams' records. And if they're playing a lot of schools that are not doing so well and they're beating them, they get to the OHSAA playoffs. You're going to play most of the time, if you move on to, later rounds, teams that have played good programs. They're battle tested. And some of those teams are, as we just spoke to Dan Reardon of the Ursuline Irish, they're not afraid to play anybody. I mean, look at this schedule: Steubenville. Then they also played Padua Franciscan. And then on top of them, they played Lakeside, East, Harding, Austintown Fitch, the other Irish squad in Ohio, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, Villa Angela St. Joe's, Cheney, Cardinal Mooney. You had New Philadelphia. And then Ursuline went back after New Philadelphia, and they played the defending state champs and the Canfield Cardinals. And yes, it was close, 16-13. As Coach Reardon said, they were banged up. Everyone's like, well, they don't have the same players as last year. They still have the same coach and a lot of the same players. They still have the English boy. They still had a lot of returning players. They know how to win. That might have, knocking on wood as I say this, the state championship winners, just like last year when Ursuline and Canfield played. Then they played Villa Angela St. Joe's for the second time. Super tough to beat a team twice in the same season. And then they have Chardon. Canfield beat them in a game to move on to their eventual state championship last year. So, they're not afraid to play anybody. And I say the same thing of the Warren Harding Raiders and Steve Arnold. They did darn well, and they just lost their game a couple weeks ago. And they were going much farther than teams expected them to. And, they're not afraid to play anybody. So these teams that are left, Ursuline and Struthers and South Range obviously being, that team that is defending state champ, they are somebody to watch out for. And we're going to go right to the lines. We have South Range head coach David Rock on the line. Coach, thank you so much for taking time to being here tonight.
A little bit late calling in. I had a kind of wild night in a late practice.
Oh, no problem. We understand. Trust me, everybody understands. We greatly appreciate it. Congratulations last week on such a huge win. You guys are just, going on from what you did last year. And, Coach Yeagley left, a legend in the area, and you took over. Not an easy thing to do, to take over from a coach like that.
No, I can tell you firsthand, from playing for Coach and then coaching for him for so long, that his shoes are impossible to fill, and certainly no one guy is ever going to be able to do that, at least in my mind. So I'm fortunate that I have great kids and great parents and such a great staff and support system around me that we're all trying to pull together and do the best we can to fill his shoes. But no, you hit the nail on the head. It's definitely easier said than done, that's for sure.
Well, you definitely are doing a fabulous job. Obviously, only one small hiccup, a close loss to Green in week 2, but you guys have not looked back. Last week, you had the first half kind of a battle with Clearview, but ending up winning 48-21. Can you talk to us a little bit about that matchup?
Yeah, they again, for the third week in a row, the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, we were playing a team that was relatively unknown. As far as we go, we haven't matched up with them. We've matched up with a lot of teams in the playoffs over the past couple of years, but that was a new one, and we knew going in, they were going to present some problems athletically. They were really, really athletic. We thought at all 3 phases defensively, and then their skill guys were great offensively. So kind of a slow start. I don't know that we were playing poorly as much as Clearview is making some plays, and sometimes the ball's just not bouncing your way. And I told some other guys that playoff football is hard. It's hard to win football games, and it doesn't always mean you're playing bad. If you're in a tight ball game. But I thought, coming out of half, did a good job of getting a spark. I thought on kickoff team there early, and we get a stop there and 3 and out, and then kind of got off and running a little bit. But yeah, definitely, proud of the way our guys responded after the half, and just the poise and the maturity that they showed, and not getting frustrated. Being in a dogfight.
This week, a huge matchup on Friday. Perry, the Pirates, somebody that, teams in the area obviously are familiar with. Girard was for a while when they made their state championship run. And then last year, and the year when you guys won that state championship, you faced Perry in the playoffs. Now you guys are going to meet up again. Can you talk to us a little bit about that kind of rivalry that's going on between you?
Yeah, we have a ton of respect for their football program, and as you mentioned, Poland had their battle with them a couple of years ago, and I know Gerard's been in, I think 4 or 5. I was talking to Coach Pat from Gerard the other day, and he was saying that they battled it out with them, and then obviously, we jumped in last year and ended up matching up with them in the regional championship. But just a really, really good program, really well coached, and they have some really dangerous guys. And it's a program that obviously is been on a roll. They're 13 wins right now to 0 losses, and really haven't been tested. I mean, even they played a great Kirtland team, which we're familiar with, and handled business over there. So we know we have a great challenge ahead of us, and it's going to have to be 4 great quarters and of great football in all 3 phases to come out of there with a win.
I love when coaches mention all 3 phases. So many times you only hear offense, defense, but my God, special teams are just as important. Looking at the specific, things that you're going to be facing with Perry, what do you have to watch out for them offensively and defensively?
Well, I think, offensively, just they have so many good skill players. The quarterback's obviously a great player. They got a great running back, and then just a plethora of really talented wideouts. So, they present a challenge in terms of the scheme. They do a really good job of getting the ball in space, and they're very balanced, run pass. So, I mean, they really make you defend the whole field. And obviously, that's easier said than done when it comes to having to defend, really great players, all over the place. Defensively, they're active. I mean, they pack them in the box at times. Pretty complicated scheme, I think, to get a handle on as far as their defense goes. They do a really good job of utilizing second and third level players, in the run fit and getting pressure with those guys. So we know we're going to have to be really hitting and making sure that we are understanding the structure that we're seeing in terms of their defense. And then, going back to the three phases, we watched the film from last week that, I think last week, them and Garfield, and they end up two big punt returns early and just a really, really dangerous return game. So need to try to find a way to try to, get rid of that advantage they've had and to try to, make them earn it from scrimmage and just keep the ball in front of us as best we can.
Well, Coach, we have a couple minutes left. I just wanted to know if you could talk to all of the South Range Raiders fans and anybody else who wants to support you guys, what would you say to them for the game on Friday?
Just that we need them. We're so fortunate that we have a great following and great support week in, week out. I would tell them that we need them at the game. And, I hope that they understand how much pride our kids have and what a deep responsibility we feel in representing them on Friday nights. These guys have worked so hard, and I'm so lucky that I've been able to witness it firsthand, just the way that they've gone about their business. And they're a special group, and they deserve all the support that they can get. And we're going to try to get it done for them.
Coach Rock, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to be here. We want to wish you the best of luck on Friday. Go Raiders.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Go Raiders.
Thank you very much. That was Coach David Rock of the South Range Raiders, the defending state champ. South Range Raiders, 12-1, only one little hiccup in week 2. They have not looked back since then. It's going to be a huge weekend for Ursuline, South Range, and Struthers. Please, everybody, I really mean this. If you can go to any of these games, please get your butts out there. Go to the Blue Field in Ravenna for Ursuline. I'm not sure of where the other two games are. I apologize about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 3 hours from here. If you support these teams, go support them. The Wildcats need as many people in the stands as possible. And South Range being a defending state champ, you have to understand, when you have won it all, the next year, everybody paints a huge target on you. So they already know South Range is a good program, but they won it all last year. So it means everything. And Perry lost to them in the playoffs, and then South Range ended up winning state. Trust me, just like Ursuline thought about getting back at Canfield, that could have been us. Well, they took care of business, and now it is in their hands. Same thing for South Range. They could be repeating. And again, I'm knocking on wood, everybody. They could be repeating as state champs again if everything goes right. So please, everybody in the Tri-County area, even you players that are done, I know it hurts. I know you want to be playing this week, but support these teams that have a game coming up. We want everybody to win this week. We want 3 more teams out there to do it. We love you all. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Go Irish, go Raiders, and go Wildcats. We'll see you next week, everybody.
We can do this together!
All right, let's go! Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What? Oh my gosh, you don't know!
I know!
You don't! Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No! Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this!
You will rock this! To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message. Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
This is Jerry Snodgrass, Executive Director of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One of my long-standing goals is to help people understand that high school sports are about so much more than wins and losses. The OHSAA promotes education-based athletics, where sports are an extension of the classroom. Our schools all want to win. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, it's all about sportsmanship, leadership, and making certain that academics are a priority. Thank you for your support of high school sports in Ohio.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
With over 30 years of experience, Madurix Butcher Block in Mineral Ridge is a quality-driven company focused on great personal service. Our fresh meats are of the finest cut. We make a variety of burgers, sausages, and a full line of deli meats. Using our own smokehouse, we prepare different types of jerky, snack sticks, kibasi, bacon, hot dogs, and bone-in hams. When your tummy needs some relief, call 652-BEEF. That's 330-652-2333.
Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
That was also a big draw when Major League Baseball talked to us about this concept and if we would be interested in moving into this league, was the vision that we'd have State College, Williamsport, West Virginia, all three really strong.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
Store or website for details.
.101 to go in the third quarter. Nassau leading 37-6. We'll run down the scoring play and some of the information with that here in just a moment. A tackle on the return after Grant took that football at about the 13-yard line, able to get up to about the 23, a 10-yard return for Grant on the kickoff. Nelson gets the 29-yard touchdown run for Nassau. The extra point by Rusakis is good. Nelson, that's his 10th rushing touchdown of the year, but get this, Greg, that's his longest run of the year, 29 yards. His previous long was 25 coming into this game. So that's a highlight for you.
I find that surprising, to be honest, seeing his skill set and his speed, that you would think that he would have had a chance to make, break some long runs during the year. But again, I think he's got a tremendous career ahead of him.
Wells does not come back at quarterback. It's Lee, and a handoff to Uri. Uri just going to try to get whatever he can, as the snap was high and he and Lee had some miscommunication in the backfield. Uri will get up to the 20, a loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12.
As the rain begins to fall pretty heavily again. So those showers that were in our area have come back, and it's pretty much a steady downpour right now. These players have been out here in the cold and rain all day, and It's one of those things they got to find a way to get through this at this point.
This could be the last play of the third quarter. Here's Lee looking, throwing. It is incomplete. Trying to hit St. Julian out of the backfield. And could not get it and get inbounds at the same time, could St. Julian. And the incompletion stops the clock with 13.1 seconds left.
And there was holding on that play. It looks like the Pioneers had holding, and it was declined by the Lions on that play. So it'll remain, 3rd and 12?
Yeah, 3rd and 12 coming up for the offense of Northland. They have had a very good season winning their opener against Rochester. And Rochester, such a tradition in that conference, the Minnesota College Athletic Conference up there. They beat Rochester pretty well, 34-6 this year, but not being able to get things lined out in this one. St. Julian is going to be stopped in the backfield. The first one to hit him was Henry Garrison, a backup defensive lineman, and then Winey came in and finished it out. St. Julian had no chance on that one. With Wells out of the game, Lee in at quarterback, who's a wide receiver by trade, Nassau pinning their ears back here and just kind of coming after him.
Well, yeah, he probably hasn't taken a lot of snaps in practice or anything. So, yeah, they're just going after him right now.
That's the end of the third quarter, 37-6. Nassau starting to run away with things here in Glen Ellen. Back in a moment. The Red Grange Bowl is on Sports Radio America.
Western Union money transfers are now available at Walmart. When you send money with Western Union, you're sending so much more. You're sending opportunity, love, and support to the people you care about most. Visit your local Walmart today and send money with Western Union to family and friends in over 200 countries and territories around the world. Services offered by Western Union Financial Services, Inc., NMLS 906983, or Western Union International Services, LLC, NMLS 906985. See terms for details.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? Amid the chaos? Or is the best time perhaps today? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Into the third quarter, now getting ready for the start of the fourth. 37-6, the score. Nassau leading the Pioneers of Northland. And Nassau, the defense starting to come after Northland here with a backup quarterback into the game. They're working on their backup quarterback right now and some of his equipment. Dylan Lee over on the sideline. Some of the staff members over there trying to help him out, even some of the other football players trying to help him out. Right now, though, the Northland offense is going to have to punt the football. They're facing fourth and a long, long way. 21, I think. Something like that.
Fourth and 15, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 4th and 21. Correct.
Snap. Here is the punt. It's going to bounce at the 41 and take a Northland bounce and then go out of bounds. Boy, it hit one of the Nassau players right in the chest. Audain, the returner, had it hit him right in the chest, bounced away from him, but luckily for him, and just like every other break it seems in this football game, it has gone Nassau's way, and it went out of bounds on the bounce.
Give credit to the Pioneers there. St. Julian, number 7, hustled his tail off. Even though he's down 31 points here, he was hustling his tail off to try to get that ball, and kudos to him at this point. Something positive there.
So the Nassau offense back onto the field. Genova gets a little pressure, steps up, gets away from it, now sacked. And again, coming up to take him down is Pickett, the defensive lineman who has not stopped this game, that's for sure. Has had a good one, stops Genova on the sack back at the 45-yard line. It's not a loss of a lot, maybe 2 yards. A little bit more possibly to the 44, but it's a sack nonetheless.
Pickett got off the line really well there. He is a good athlete. He is quick, and he got past him, and then he had to come back and get him. But what a great play by him playing through the ball.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Glen Ellen. Genova on second down and 13. Throws complete to midfield. The catch made by Marcus Lane. Lane falling forward into Northland territory. Person there on the tackle and getting help, I believe, from Murrin. And they'll spot it at the 48 in Northland territory. Doesn't get the first down, but a nice gain. It'll bring up third and manageable. 3rd and 5 coming up here for Nassau. No back in the backfield with the quarterback, Genova. Tucker in motion, looking Tucker's way on the left side of the field. Now running, Genova. First down and more through the middle to the 35 and taken down at the 32. Tackle made by Dorval.
Genova, there he is again, making those positive plays, making the determination that he didn't have anything downfield, tucked the ball and ran. Looks like we got another injury for Northland on the field right now.
I think that's McCaddy, if I'm not mistaken.
Boy, he's had a great game. I'd hate to see him end his day with an injury.
I don't see him anywhere else over here on the sideline. We can't see his number, but I believe back at the 47-yard line, McCaddy is the one down. 13:25 to go. Genova picks up the first down on a very nice run.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the rain is coming down pretty good right now. This is as heavy as I've seen it all day long. It's one of those things that certainly it can't be fun playing in these conditions when it's cold and rainy like this, but certainly one of those things that guys have to fight through it.
And with my eyesight, I'm going to have to get right up on it. Maybe sticking my head out the window here in a minute.
Well, good luck on that one. Good luck on that one. I'm not letting you open this window right now, I'll be honest. So, no, it's good. So, he's still down. I hope he's okay.
He immediately took his helmet off. You could tell that he was in some pain. So, with them attending to McCaddy across the way, let's step aside for just a moment and take a break. 13:25 to go in the game. 37-6. Nassau with the lead over Northland in the 2018 Red Grange Bowl. Back in a moment here on Sports Radio America.
"27-yard field goal attempt. Johnson holding the meatloaf. Texas Pete hot sauce with the kick. Look at that meatloaf go. It's good.
Give your food the kick it needs. Get some Texas Pete hot sauce. Drama for your mouth.
I love this song. I love nachos.
Loving everything? You might be buzzed.
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Sports Radio America. Sports, anytime, anywhere.
Defensive lineman Marquavius McCaddy off the field now. Looks like a shoulder issue possibly. But Northland losing another important player in their machine, and it's now Nassau. And 1st and 10 from the 32. Handoff will go to the running back. And the running back up the middle, it's Innocent, able to get through more of a scat back type across the 30 down to about the 26-yard line. And another Northland Pioneer is down on the turf. This time, I believe is that Erickson down or is that Gustav?
Number 90? Is it number 9?
It's Gustav.
I think so.
Stefan Gustav, who is the 6'2", 250-pound freshman defensive lineman out of Miami, Florida. I'll tell you something, this Northland roster, those guys up in Minnesota have went all over the country to assemble the players they use.
No, you have to do that sometimes.
Yeah,
it's one of those things you have to, if you want to put together a team that's competitive, you have to find some of those players. And yes, you'd like to stay in your district, obviously, but it's one of those things that if you've got kids who want to come north, I guess, and experience snow, I guess, for the first time in their lives, well, what a great opportunity to go.
You see some of the states dotted on there: Florida, Virginia, Missouri, football-rich states, Texas, Colorado, Minnesota, of course, their home state. Georgia's represented on that roster as well, but a lot of guys from Florida
Well, there's being in this world as long as I have been, one of the things you find out is that there are a lot of players in Florida and not a lot of schools in Florida that play football. So you've got your 4 or 5 main large ones and some smaller ones, but there's more kids than there are opportunities. So they've got to go someplace. So, it's one of those things that a lot of schools recruit out of Florida because one, there's really good players down there, but there are enough that they can get a few to come up.
So Gustav looks like will be able to come off the field on his own power. That's good news. 13:02 to play in the game. 37-6. Nassau with the football and the lead at the 25-yard line. It was a 7-yard run by Innocent. He'll take the run this time. Left side, one man to get around, and then out of bounds at the 15. Finally pushed out of bounds by Alexander and Person. They teamed up, but not before Innocent will pick up the first down and get his team in the red zone once again.
He's had some nice runs today, too. And, again, kudos to the offensive line for the Lions, doing a good job opening up holes.
Ball at the 15-yard line. Innocent stays in the game. De Blasio out to the right side in the slot, as well as Lane. Tucker in the backfield with Genova. Full house.